Well, Abraham was called a friend of God. Now, when Abraham was 75 years old, God made him a promise. God showed up. Jesus came up and he told Abraham, Abraham, I want you to leave your family and everything you know, and I want you to go to a new land, and I'm going to bless you with the land called Israel. And I'm going to give you so many children that it'll be like the stars of the heaven. And Abraham believed God, and he took his wife, and he went on a journey. Well, time passed, and now Abraham is 99 years old. Now, God had told him he was going to give him a son, but he still had no sons. So can you imagine, for 25 years, you know you have this promise from God. God, you said you're going to give me a son. I believed you. I left everything I know. I've gone to this new land, but you still haven't given me a son. And so Jesus would show up and he would tell Abraham, Abraham, I know it's been a long time, but I promise you, I'm going to give you as many sons as there are on the sky. You're going to have so many descendants. And so one day Abraham was out at night and he was looking at the stars, and Jesus showed up and he reminded him, because he could tell, Jesus knows when we're starting to get a little frustrated, or we're starting to think that maybe it's not going to happen. And Abraham was kind of wondering like that, because it's been 25 years. He's like, how am I going to have all of these sons and I don't even have one son? And he goes, maybe I'm supposed to adopt a son, or maybe I'm supposed to do things my way. And when we think that, boy, it's time to get in trouble. Because when God makes you a promise and he says, I'm going to do something, and then we try to help God say, oh, I know God's going to do it, but I'm running out of time. I'm getting old here. I still got no kids, and my wife is really old. And so we start thinking, maybe I can help God out. And so that's kind of what Abraham did. He tried to help God out, and he got into a little bit of trouble. And so he knew, I'm messing things up, but I don't see where it's happening. And I'm getting sad, and I'm getting discouraged. Well, that's when Jesus showed up, and he said, Abraham, look at the skies. You are going to have a son. And Abraham goes, yeah, but maybe I need to help you out, Jesus. He goes, no. I don't need any help. Your wife, Sarah, will have a son. And you are going to name him Isaac. And he goes, you know what, Abraham? You're my friend. I love you. I'm going to change your name. You're no longer going to be called Abram. You're going to be called Abraham. That is the father of nations. So you're going to have a new identity. I see that you waited 25 years patiently. I'm giving you a new name. It's Abraham, father of nations. He goes, and your wife, her name means Sarai, is princess. But guess what? He goes, I'm changing her name. Her name is going to be my princess. Princess of God. So God gave them a new name because they were faithful. They were getting discouraged, but they were hanging on to that promise. So she became a princess of God, and he became the father of nations. And he goes, it's going to happen soon. And so Abraham believed. Once again, he goes, okay, I believe you. So a few days go by, and Abraham's sitting under a tree, and he's wondering, I know Jesus said that something's special going to happen. Well, just then, Abraham sees Jesus and two angels walking towards him. And he's like, whoa, Jesus is coming towards me. And so Abraham goes, hey, he bows down and he worships Jesus. And he goes, Jesus, I worship you. And then he goes, can you hang out and have some lunch with me? And Jesus said, yes, I will have lunch with you and my two angels. And so the two angels went and they stayed underneath that tree. And Abraham goes, let me tell Sarah that you're here and maybe she can make you some lunch. So Abraham goes, Sarah. Now she was hanging out in the tent. He goes, Sarah, we've got special visitors. Make them some special bread and a special lunch. And so Sarah goes, okay, I'll make some food for them. And so Abraham is hanging out here with Jesus and the two angels. And Jesus tells him, Abraham, this time next year, your wife Sarah is going to have a baby. And so Abraham in his heart kind of starts chuckling a little. He goes, I'm almost 100 years old. 100. I'm 100 years old. And I'm going to have a baby? And Jesus said, yes. Next year, your wife is going to have a baby. Well, she's in the tent, and she hears Jesus say this. And she starts to laugh. My husband is 100 years old almost. I'm 90 years old. There's no way I'm having a baby. And so she starts laughing. Well, Jesus hears her laughing. And he goes, Abraham, he goes, why did Sarah laugh about having a baby? is anything impossible for me? Now, is anything impossible for Jesus? No. Because if he made the sun and the moon, he made all the animals, he made people, he made the whole earth, I think he can make a baby. And so he goes, nothing's impossible for me. You're going to see. Next year when I come back, she's having a baby. So they believed. And Jesus said, and I want you to name him Isaac. Because Isaac means laughter. You guys laughed, but he's going to be a joy. He's going to bring laughter into your hearts. And he's going to be your special son. And you guys are going to love him. Well, sure enough, the year passed by, and the very next year, Sarah had a what? Baby. She had a baby, just like Jesus said. And they named him Isaac. And his name was Laughter because he brought such joy to his heart. And it says in the Bible that Abraham loved Isaac. It's the first time in the Bible that the word loved was ever used. And he said, I love Isaac because he's a special promise from the Lord. And that started this family tree. Abraham and Sarah had Isaac, and from that baby, a great grandson was going to be born, and that was going to be Jesus. Jesus was going to come from that family tree.